Today's cover story, a blood vessel is injured. Coagulation Cascade team response. Good evening everyone. I am Queenie Katubay and welcome to Coagulation Patrol. Today's cover story, we will be covering a very important accident. A blood vessel has been severely injured. An initial report from our news respondent, Irish Ramones. Hi Irish, what are the initial report that you gathered regarding the accident?
Yes, hello Queenie. So, initial report says that a blood vessel was severely injured by a knife around 9:30 this morning. Thus, the blood vessel has been brought to the Northwestern University Medical Hospital immediately by the first responders. And platelets gave their first aid to the injured vessel. The platelets' first aid is called plaque formation and immediately activated upon contact to the collagen in the blood vessel. Good day, Mr. Platelet. Yes, so you have been the first responder to the injury of the blood vessel. Were there any complications upon doing the procedure?
The plaque formation was successful. However, the injury is severe. It is a secondary hemostasis.
Okay, what is secondary hemostasis? Would you care to explain to us, Mr. Platelet?
Secondary hemostasis is the activation of plasma proteins. The coagulation factor doctors will be in charge of activating them through the activation factors.
Wow, that's very detailed, Mr. Platelet. And I hope later on we will learn more about it. Thank you, Mr. Platelet. That's all for now. Back to you, Queenie.
Thank you for that initial report, Irish. So what's next now for the blood vessel? More on that headline when we get back here on Coagulation Patrol.
Did you know that human blood contains metal atoms, including iron, chromium, magnesium, zinc, lead, and copper? You may also be surprised to know that your blood contains small amount of gold. The human body contains 0.2 milligrams of gold that is mostly found in your blood.
Welcome back, and we are still gathering more reports about the injured blood vessel. As we have reported earlier, the blood vessel is currently in Northwestern University Medical Hospital for the coagulation cascade. Here is our respondent in the hospital. Hello Irish, how is the blood vessel right now?
Hi, Queenie. I'm here at Northwestern University Medical Hospital. At exactly 9:55 this morning, the blood vessel has been admitted and now is currently being treated by the Coagulation Cascade team.
Irish, who are the coagulation cascade team? Is there any way that we can interview them for updates regarding the blood vessel?
Yes, Queenie. There are doctors and specialists that very essential in this type of injuries. And maybe later on, one of them will come out from the treatment area. We will have an update, but as of now, they are still treating the blood vessel injuries. Yes, that's all for now. Back to studio.
Thank you, Irish. And that is our news respondent from the Northwestern University Medical Hospital. Now let's have an interview with Dr. Tissue Factor and Dr. Factor 7 of the extrinsic pathway. They are the first coagulation factor doctors to act on the injured blood vessel. Hello, doctors. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, we can hear you. Good evening.
What is the condition of the injured blood vessel right now?
The blood vessel is now undergoing secondary hemostasis. Since the injury has been severe, the coagulation cascade team will be doing its job by activating the plasma proteins, or what I call the coagulation factor doctors. I, Dr. Tissue Factor, activating the Dr. Factor 7 to Dr. Factor 7A.
Once, Dr. Tissue Factor will join me as he will try to initiate a thrombin burst, which I will be doing together with him once I form complex and activate Dr. Factor 10 to Dr. Factor 10A.
So, Dr. Tissue Factor, why are you going to activate Dr. Factor 7?
I will need a complex team for the coagulation cascade process.
Thank you for your time and for that information, Dr. Factor 7 and Dr. Tissue Factor.
Thank you as well, Queenie.
Those were just a few of the coagulation factor doctors. More information on our cover story today when we get back here on Coagulation Patrol.
An endothelial damage like a cut or an abrasion will start the extrinsic pathway of where the factor 3 or the tissue factor will activate unactivated factor 7. This form the extrinsic stenase complex, which is 7-8 tissue factor and calcium altogether.
Welcome back to Coagulation Patrol. Before the commercial, we had an exclusive live interview with coagulation tissue factor of the extrinsic pathway. Now we will be having a live interview with the coagulation factor doctors of the intrinsic pathway. Again, welcome to the coagulation factor doctors 9, 11, and 12.
Thank you for having us.
Doctors, please enlighten us how the intrinsic pathway will work on the severely injured blood vessel.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, intrinsic pathway will work on the formation of the fibrin clot as well, just like the extrinsic pathway coagulation factor doctors. However, they were activated first because the injury was caused by trauma the knife. If only damage were done inside the blood vessel, we will be the first one to be activated. So, I will be activated once I have this surface contact with the blood vessel.
Yes, as Dr. 12 have said, he or she will be activated once she touches the surface of the vessel. We will be doing our function later on. So once the Dr. 12 will be activated, his or her active form will not on me, so that I will be activated as well.
So it's like you'll be needing an activated forms of the factors to activate more factors. Is that right, Dr. Factor 9?
That is correct, ma'am. Our activated form will act upon the other factors. So once I will be activated by Dr. Factor 2, I will be in my active form. Once I am in my active form, I can now enter the common pathway where the fibrin formation begins for the blood vessels.
Thank you so much for that very detailed information. Again, please stand by. We will be back here on Coagulation Patrol.
Hi, welcome to Hema Kaalaman. Did you know that not all blood are red? There are other organisms such as spiders and arthropods has a blue blood, while earthworms and leeches has a green blood. But back in 2007, a group of surgeons operating a 42-year-old Canadian man are shocked when they discovered in his arteries has a dark green blood in it, just like Dr. Spock from Star Trek. But the lab test reveals that sulfur atoms get incorporated with oxygen hemoglobin carrying proteins. That's why the blood is green, and they call it sulfhemoglobinemia. That's all. Thank you.
We are now back here on Coagulation Patrol. And now, let's talk with one of our news respondents who is in Northwestern Medical Hospital for for the coverage of the injured blood vessel. Irish, how is a blood vessel?
Yes, Queenie. The blood vessel will now undergo coagulation cascade again. Since the blood vessel is severely injured, the plug formation by platelets are not enough. Now, the coagulation cascade team, which is composed of 3 sub-teams, and they will be doing the secondary hemostasis procedure. The extrinsic pathway is now getting ready, and once Dr. Factor 7 is activated, Dr. Factor 12 in the intrinsic pathway will be starting the cascade. Yes, here is Dr. Factor 10 for an interview.
Yes, good afternoon, Dr. Factor 10. May we know which team do you belong?
Good afternoon. Actually, I belong to the intrinsic and extrinsic pathway. However, once I'm activated, I will start to work on the cascade with the common pathway. On the extrinsic pathway, I will be joining the complex of Dr. Tissue, Factor, and Dr. Factors 7A, who is already activated. However, on the extrinsic pathway, I will also be activated in the presence of calcium ions.
That's a lot of activators, Dr. Factor 10. But thank you for that information. That's all here in Northwestern University Medical Hospital. Back to the studio.
Thank you so much, Irish, and we will be back here on Coagulation Patrol.
Fibrinogen is the clotting element present in blood. When blood comes out of a wound in a vessel, the fibrinogen is activated and forms fibrin, which clots the blood. Although this is fibrinogen's main job, it also forms bridges between platelets. When fibrinogen is activated to form fibrin, an enzyme called thrombin cleaves the fibrinopeptides off to the alpha and beta chains.
We are now back here on Coagulation Patrol. We are still on the coverage of the injured blood vessel. Right now, the primary hemostasis is done and the secondary hemostasis is ongoing. Through the activation of the coagulation cascade teams, intrinsic, extrinsic, and common pathway. On the phone right now is Dr. Thrombin. Hello, doctor.
Good day to all.
Doctor, what is your function in the cascade?
Actually, I am the start of fibrin formation. Once activated by the active Dr. Factor 10, I become a thrombin. I will be acting upon the conversion of Dr. Factor 1 or fibrinogen into fibrin mesh or clot.
So, once you will become a thrombin, will that be the end of your role in the coagulation cascade process of that injured blood vessel?
No. Once converted into thrombin, I will be acting upon Dr. Factor 13 as well as the cross-linking activity, which will be after the cascade.
Thank you very much for that information, doctor, and good luck on your upcoming procedure. Now, let's have Irish, who is now with Dr. Factor 13, who will be working on the cross-linking activity like what Dr. Thrombin has discussed earlier.
Hello, Queenie. We have here Dr. Factor 13 who will be explaining the cross-linking procedure that he will be doing in the injured blood vessel.
Hello and good day to everyone. These cross-linking activities are about strengthening the fibrin clot formation. Later, after the procedure of Dr. Crothermin and Dr. Fibrinogen, I will be activated by thrombin. He is actually the activated form of Dr. Crothermin, so I will act on pigments of the mesh, making it resistant to lysis and provides elasticity. So when it is fully healed, the fibrinolysis team will be the one to remove the mesh at the injured blood vessel.
Thank you, Irish. Just in, the last procedure were successful, and here's our exclusive live interview with Mr. Blood Vessel. Hello, Mr. Blood Vessel. How are you right now? What happened?
Hi, thank you for asking. I'm doing well now. The coagulation cascade were successful. I thank the coagulation doctors for saving my life.
That's great, but what really happened?
He was accidentally being cut by a knife.
So, sir, how many days will it take for your recovery?
It will take some time. The fibrinolysis team headed by plasminogen will be converted to plasmin and it will cleave the fibrin mesh coil.
That must have been tough, but we are glad that you are okay now, Mr. Blood Vessel. Thank you very much.